Kim Ki Duk, what a great pleasure to host you on our show today. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's start with this. Everywhere, on the internet, in your film critics, everywhere, when I look at you, you are hailed as a controversial director, controversial filmmaker. And I have a feeling that you're actually sort of even sometimes embracing this. So it makes me think about whether you actually claim this title and claim this role, and whether you think a filmmaker's role is to be controversial and create controversy from time to time.
Yes, of course I know people watching my films can have opposing ideas, but I've never done this on purpose or to deliberately spark such discussions. I've made my thoughts into movies with the purest intentions, but it's natural that there are contradictions between those who love my work and those who don't. It wasn't my intention, but the film may have created opposing feelings in the audience. I think it's a good thing that there are contradictions between the audience and the critics after the film is made.
So, considering the fact that I think your cinema is all about the coexistence of different poles, black and white, light and dark, like light and shadow, or sorrow and hope, considering this, do you think it's harder to be a director now that the world is suffering from, the rise of far-right, terror, and the war on terror? So do you feel like it is a good time to be a filmmaker?
Of course, there are a wide variety of types of films. These might be humanistic, comedies, or political films. I think things like wars, terror attacks, and conflicts between countries influence us more. One of the most recent films I made was The Net, a film about the South and North Korean conflict, but it was not supposed to judge which party was right or wrong. I think that cinema, instead of taking sides, should tell the story of mutual understanding of what the real problem is. In this regard, I respect being gray rather than being black or white. I prefer to look at things from the gray side and forgive or make a compromise.
Something a bit more personal. I wonder if you watch a lot of movies, because I've met a lot of directors who take pride in not watching a lot of movies, and they don't call themselves cinephiles because they probably believe that it's too intellectual to be immersed so much in the discipline. Are you like that?
It's been 25 years since I started making movies. I didn't have a chance to see many movies while making my first film. I didn't have any formal education, so I didn't know much about cinema. But as I made more and more films, I started to wonder what other directors' films were like. 5 or 6 years after making my first movie, I examined these directors' old movies, especially movies many people see as a masterpiece. Apart from that, I also examined the films of other good directors that were my contemporaries. This has influenced my own movies.
So would you say that you belong to South Korean cinema tradition, or South Korean New Wave per se?
I can say I've thought about this a lot of times. I was born in South Korea and made films there, but I'd rather be called a film director than a South Korean film director, because my films are released in many countries. So I'm just a film director.
But then there are a lot of filmmakers who would identify with a genre or with a country, with a nationality. So do you sometimes maybe take pride in being the outsider or feeling like the outsider?
I don't think that way. Of course, I was born in South Korea, but because I always make a lot of films about the conflicts or problems involving other people, I don't really think we should call these films Korean films, just because they were made in Korea. Since we all have a lot of information at our disposal on a global level today, I also think I'm a director who makes global movies. I recently made a film called Human, Space, Time, and Human. It was shown at this festival as well. It's a film about the problems we all have nowadays and universal energy. It doesn't belong to any country, but to all humanity. As you just said, it's a film with opposing ideas. Some people said it was natural, and some said it was pure and beautiful.
So speaking of universality, do you watch superhero movies, like Marvel movies, for example?
I'm a film director, but I also have a film production company. I always want a movie to be watched on the big screen by a lot of people. Therefore, I'm a director. But as a producer, I think it's necessary to gather information through measuring what the audience is interested in. That's why I watch many commercial industrial films, such as American Marvel films and some European films. As a filmmaker, I think I should watch these films in terms of gathering information about filmmaking without thinking whether I like them or not.
Well, it was great having you on our show today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
예, 저도 이 영화제에 초청받은
I am so happy to have been to this film festival. I hope this festival in Turkey becomes more popular and more people watch the movies screened here.